The chances are that if you're watching this video, you're already familiar with the old adage that you're not a true petrol head until you've owned an Alfa Romeo. I unfortunately haven't owned one yet myself, and I'm starting to consider one, but it's probably not the one you think. No, it's not a long sloping Giulia or a Stradale, an old 33, perhaps even a Spider. No, the one I'm considering is the car to my right, a front wheel drive, economy based hatchback. Hello and welcome to the Alfa Romeo Alfasud. Yesterday, you joined me with this. It's a 1983 Alfa Romeo Alfasud 105 Ti QV. Quite a lot of acronyms, letters, numbers, all sorts there. We're going to have a proper look around this car inside and out, under the bonnet. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what all those letters and acronyms stand for, and then we're going to get it out on the road and hope the weather improves and the sun comes out to enjoy this absolutely epic little Italian hot hatch. So let's crack on. Now, naturally, this being an Alfa Romeo, we couldn't have had just a plain and simple story of how we got here. It wasn't a case of Mr. Alfa going, let's make a little hatchback. No, no, no. That would be far too boring. You see, the Alfasud was first introduced in 1971, penned to the public as a lightweight front-wheel drive economy family hatchback, which doesn't really sound very Alfa Romeo-y at all, does it? And that's because it really isn't. Alfa didn't want to be making this car, they hadn't made anything like it before, and they didn't intend to in the future. However, they didn't have much choice in the matter because at this time, Alfa was partially under the control of the Italian government. And the Italian government had a pesky problem with unemployment in the south of Italy. They needed something to mass produce, get people working in the factories and boost up those employment numbers. And thus, this car was born. The Alfasud was an interesting thing in that despite the reluctance and inexperience in this sort of area of car manufacturing, Alfa did a very good job. It had a low centre of gravity, a front-mounted boxer engine, and some lovely Ital design aesthetics. It really did tick an awful lot of the boxes, and as such, it was quite a success for the brand. Production spanned right the way until 1989, with over 1 million units being made in various forms. There was the standard hatchback, 4 doors, 2 doors, sporty coupes, estates. There was an Alfasud for everyone. Now, the eagle-eyed among you will have noticed that this doesn't really look like your standard economy run-of-the-mill hatchback. It's got splitters, it's got aggressive styling, I've got anthracite wheels, flared arches, I've even got a spoiler at the back. And that's because Alfa Romeo, being Alfa Romeo, decided very quickly that they needed a fast, fun, sporty version of the Alfasud, something to compete with their pesky neighbours to the east in France. In 1973, the Alfasud Ti was born. The Ti, or Touring International, enhanced styling, improved driver engagement, and naturally improved performance to create a thoroughly memorable little hot hatch. The Ti has been something of a legend for a long time and is one of those cars that is inherently flawed in so many ways and yet incredibly lovable at the same time. A major redesign was really on the cards by the time the 1980s drew in. The Alfasud was beginning to look a little bit dated, and so in 1980 the Series 3, or arguably the most significant and the most recognisable Alfasud, was born. Gone was all the chrome work, and instead plastic bumpers front and rear, plastic headlight surrounds, and a few other tweaks here and there to make it into what everyone really recognises as the true or most iconic Alfasud. Now, with the facelifted Series 3 Alfasuds, a special edition run-off final Ti was introduced, and this car is one such example. This is an Alfasud Ti 105 Quadrifoglio Verde, or QV, as you might have been able to tell by that little green badge down there. This is the green cloverleaf edition, which has the most horsepower of any Alfasud Ti, slightly improved styling once again, and was just the final run-off special edition send-off to a thoroughly legendary hot hatch. Now, inside is certainly a lot better than I was expecting. Is well styled. I've got a classic Alfa tri-spoke steering wheel at the front and some really comfy Ti upholstered fabric seats. They're really quite comfortable in the front, and in the rear there's room for 2 more, so you and 3 of your mates can go out for a blast in your Alfasud Ti. Up top I've got a manually opening sunroof and a few gubbins here and there. It's a decent level of fit and finish, not the best, very Italian one might say in that respect. It's a nice place to be, it looks the part. I've got very little to complain about in here. And here lies the beating heart of any Alfasud, the 4-cylinder boxer engine. This was available in various capacities and states of tune, with the early cars being 1.1 litres and 1.2s, but this particular example is the 105 Ti, isn't it? The very last run, so the best of the bunch. This is a 1490cc 4-cylinder engine with around 105 brake horsepower and some rather respectable performance figures. Top speed was around 111 miles an hour, nothing crazy, but this is a small hatchback at the end of the day. 0 to 60, that was quite respectable too, firmly into single figures, around 6.5 seconds to get there. It was a very good little engine, this. Yes, it wasn't the most reliable, but when it was going, boy did it sound great. Right then, the Alfasud 105 Ti QV. What's it like to drive? Let's find out. That is an unmistakable engine note. What else could it be other than an Alfa, especially one with a boxer engine? It's sublime. That just is perfection. Put the window up so you can hear me a little bit better. On a rare sunny day like today, on an even rarer occasion when everything on your Alfa is working, you can't beat it. This is perfection. I'm loving this drive. 105 horsepower or thereabouts is all you need in a car that weighs about 860 kilos. It's really quite a zippy little thing. Paired with that Subaru-esque boxer engine note, it makes for quite a lot of fanfare. I would note, you might be able to hear, it's a little bit blustery inside the cabin. I can even feel the wind coming in through a gap here. That might just be with this particular car. It's had new door seals. Sometimes they take a bit of time to bed in. Handling, I might as well be in a Scalextric's car. I hope that puts it into perspective for you. This thing sticks to the road like glue. It's so sharp and nice in the bends. That's really where this car comes into its element. It really is a joy to drive this thing, and it's hard to believe that this really isn't Alfa's forte, or certainly wasn't at the time of manufacture. In the 1970s and 80s, a small, lightweight, front-wheel drive hatchback just didn't make sense with an Alfa badge on it, but here we are, and boy am I glad they were almost effectively forced to make this thing. The fit and finish isn't the best in here, to say the least. As I've said, and as you could probably hear, it's awfully blustery, but all of that is forgiven when you put your foot down and everything just sings. I've got a 5-speed manual gearbox helping me get all of that 105 horsepower down, and it's doing its job very well. It's a bit long in terms of throws, and it does feel a little bit loose, but it's perfectly capable and up to the job. I'm quite surprised by how comfortable it is in here as well. I wasn't really expecting a great deal of anything when it came to comfort. I thought I'd be rattling and shaking, and yes, there is a little bit of feedback here and there through the instruments and the gear shifter, but the seats themselves, they're awfully comfortable. Driving this car really has solidified my love for the Alfasud. Yes, they rush, yes, they have a bit of a reputation, but as I said, when everything lines into place just like this, it's a wonderful thing. So then, the Alfa Romeo Alfasud 105 Ti QV. What do I think? Well, it's exactly as I expected. I love this thing. It's just quintessential Alfa. Yes, it's flawed. Yes, there's problems. Yes, they were rotten before they even left the factory. But when everything's just right, nothing comes close to this car in its category. That boxer engine note is perfect. I think it's styled very well, especially these latest Series 3 cars with the plastic bumpers, front and rear, the plastic headlights. It all just looks the part. It's thoroughly engaging to drive. Yes, it's not the fastest. There are faster things out there, but nothing puts a smile on my face quite like this. Yes, a Volkswagen Golf GTI will be a better built car. It will start every time you go into the garage to start it, and the doors probably won't fall off. However, it won't be as fun. It won't put as much of a smile on your face. It's far too clinical for that. This is classic Alfa Romeo, as I've said. It really does embody everything that was special about the brand. It's a wonderful car. It's put a smile on my face. It's engaging. It drives well. It looks the part. And at their current price point, I don't even think they're too extortionate. There's certainly worse ways to waste your money on four wheels. So for that reason, the Alfasud 105 Ti Cloverleaf gets a thumbs up from me.